How does he beat a Jose Uzcategui? Jose Uzcategui, in my opinion, might knock James DeGale out. And actually, Jose Uzcategui is James DeGale's mandatory. Because with Uzcategui defeating Andre Dirrell, that fight was for the IBF Eliminator, right? So now he's in the mandatory position. He's not as mandatory yet because the IBF hasn't mandated it yet. They probably will. But he's now in the mandatory position to fight James DeGale next. How does he beat Jose Uzcategui? What's good, YouTube? It's your boy 2K here. Shout out to the movement and everybody who's moving with us. Well, James DeGale, he is now the IBF champion again after his majority decision win against Claeb Truax last night in a very, very, very lackluster fight. A fight in which I struggled to keep my eyes open. And this is a guy that watches the bums in the ring. You know what I'm saying? I'm the guy that goes around on streaming websites looking for a stream out in France or Thailand or Japan or the Philippines and shit. And I'll sit there and watch two niggas, their records be like 16 and 54. You know what I'm saying? Versus 12 and 27. I'll watch that fight. You know what I'm saying? And I still damn near fell asleep watching James DeGale in the ring with Claeb Truax last night. Now, I really don't care who won the fight. I didn't even score the fight. I watched the entire fight, and I'll say this. This is the only thing I'm going to say. Whether you had Claeb Truax winning or James DeGale winning, I want to plant this seed. Understand that you have to really beat the champion in order to take the belt from him. That's how it's supposed to work, right? If you're the challenger and you're facing the champion, and of course your goal is to become the new champion, you're supposed to make it to where there is no doubt that you defeated that champion. In this fight, there was a lot of doubt. Word up. But my main goal of this video is to pretty much gloat and tell the UK guys that came to my channel the first time I told y'all James DeGale is not elite. These motherfuckers, you know how they do. Oh, 2K, you motherfucker. Y'all know how they do, right? I told y'all James DeGale is not elite. And he showed it last night. Shout out to my man Corey. I'ma quote him, man. He said something that made perfect sense. An excellent analogy. He said James DeGale has a big toolbox, but he's a shitty mechanic. That is the best way to describe what James DeGale does in the ring. That's better than any other analogy I've ever heard on James DeGale. Word up. You know what I'm saying? What that means is James DeGale has all the skills in the world that you would want out of your boxer, right? He has the skills to defeat guys that he's beaten. He has the tools to beat them convincingly, actually, right? But he sucks at being able to put those tools together to create and execute the game plan. When we talk about James DeGale against the other champions at 168, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, David Benavidez, you know, the winner of George Groves versus Callum Smith in the WBSS tournament, right? When we talk about him against those guys, ask yourself, after seeing his last two fights. Now, again, prior to this fight, he said he's 100%. His shoulder was not a problem, right? So we can't give that excuse. Oh, he did come off shoulder surgery. No. He didn't even give himself that excuse, right? So take what you saw in this fight this past Saturday and really do a compare and say, does he really have a shot at beating any one of those guys? And if you say yes, you should start watching boxing. If your shot goes beyond James DeGale having a puncher's chance, if you feel he has any other chance besides a puncher's chance, hey man, I don't know what to tell you. maybe you're related to James DeGale, because it's clear to me that struggling with a guy like Claeb Truax, who in that fight, he even looked like a journeyman. Trying to get the job done, he looked like a journeyman. That's why this fight was so bad, right? He struggled against that journeyman type of style. How the fuck is he going to beat a guy like David Benavidez, a 22-year-old sensation, right? How the fuck is he going to beat a guy like Gilberto Ramirez, who is a much better boxer than James DeGale is? Gilberto's better at James DeGale's style than he is. You see what I'm saying? Shit, if you really think about it, and it's funny because he was beefing with this cat at the final press conference. How is he going to beat Caleb Plant? Y'all saw what Caleb Plant did to Porky Medina, right? This is the same Porky Medina that a lot of people feel really hurt James DeGale's image and really took something out of him as a fighter, right? That Porky Medina fight was very close. It was a situation where James DeGale was getting hit a lot, right? We started seeing it all the time after that. Badu Jack, Lucian Boutte. You know what I'm saying? We started seeing it all the time. So, y'all saw what Caleb Plant did to Porky Medina. It was easy work. Now, of course, this isn't the same Porky Medina. You know, he's gone through some wars and this and that and shit. But, you know, Porky Medina brought the same style into the fight. Same type of fighter as far as stylistically goes. But he lost a step if we're talking about being able to execute that style the way that he used to. But still, Caleb Plant had no trouble, right? And he displayed in that fight, in my opinion, he's displayed it in fights before that. I've been hot on Caleb Plant for a while now. He's displayed that he's an excellent boxer. So how does James DeGale beat a Caleb Plant? Hell, how does James DeGale beat a Jesse Hart? We're not even talking about the champions anymore. We're talking about contenders. How does he beat those guys? How does he beat a Jose Uzcategui? Jose Uzcategui, in my opinion, might knock James DeGale out. And actually, Jose Uzcategui is James DeGale's mandatory. Because with Uzcategui defeating Andre Durrell, that fight was for the IBF Eliminator, right? So now he's in the mandatory position. He's not as mandatory yet because the IBF hasn't mandated it yet. They probably will. But he's now in the mandatory position to fight James DeGale next. How does he beat Jose Uzcategui? I don't know, man. I think James DeGale should hang him up. He's done. He's no longer the fighter that beat Brandon Gonzalez, right? Shined on him, just styled on that nigga. That's when I actually became a fan of James DeGale. I was like, yo, James DeGale is nice, right? He's no longer the fighter that had a close decision loss to George Groves that a lot of people thought was a robbery. I didn't. I thought it was a good win for George Groves. But a lot of people thought the fight could have easily gone to James DeGale, right? He's no longer the guy that was this Olympic standout, you know, brought home gold medals. He wasn't that guy. He's no longer that guy, right? He's no longer the elite fighter that the Brits thought he was supposed to become. I never thought he was an elite fighter in the sport of boxing. I thought he was elite at his division, but he was never an elite fighter in the sport of boxing, in my opinion. And it's exactly what I tried to tell you guys in the first video I did on James DeGale, right? And now this should support what you guys saw last Saturday. It should support that opinion. He's not an elite fighter, and he never will be. And as long as he stays a belt holder, he's gonna have dogs on his ass. You know what I'm saying? He's got dogs on his ass. Let's see if Daryl Peoples and the IBF mandate the Jose Uzcategui fight. I'm expecting it to be mandated, and if it does, I got Uzcategui by probably 5th round knockout. I'm gonna make this shit short and sweet, man. Ain't really too much to talk about on James DeGale. Like I said, I told y'all before, I proved to be right once again. YouTube, do what you do in the comment section. Be real. Let me know what you think about James DeGale's win, his redemption over Claeb Truax, regaining the IBF 168-pound title. This is real talk for real fans. 1.